everybody tell me your name first. So
Kian
you're Kian.
Holland.
All right, Kian Holland. I like it. Well, young man, what's your name?
Graham.
Liam.
Say it louder so we can hear you.
Graham.
Oh, Graham. I'm sorry. Graham. Well, nice to see you, Graham. Nice to meet you. My name's Mr. Ryan. We'll just leave it at that. Last name's a lot harder to say. But glad to be here. Mr. Max asked me to come and talk to you guys. You're getting to. I'm gonna take this down for just while we talk. You're getting to learn a lot about community leaders and community individuals. So, what are some of the community leaders that you've discussed in your DEN meetings?
That we talked about. It was a while ago when we talked about some of them.
But you know them. You know who. You see them around a lot. What are some of the other ones?
Keen, who drives the truck who drives the fire truck we saw
You know one?
at
Graham, what you got?
Olive Garden?
Police.
Yes, sir. Excellent. Yes, the police. Who else?
Fireman.
Firemen. Yes. And then we've got.
Oh, the army.
And we got. Yes, and so I'm here representing that. And so what I represent is our Tennessee Army National Guard. So our Tennessee Army National Guard represents our military aspect here in the state of Tennessee. So like my big boss, the commander-in-chief, is the governor of the state of Tennessee, Bill Lee. So he is who ultimately commands and directs all of the Tennessee Army National Guardsmen to help assist and do things throughout the state. And so obviously, as you guys probably have seen.
Did you have to ask him if you could come?
Didn't have to ask him if I could come, but that's a good one though. No, what he does is he lets us know when he needs help in the state. So when this time last year we had lots of bad tornadoes in the area, he called on the Tennessee Army National Guard to go out, and we used a lot of our equipment to help remove trees and debris and help folks.
That's dangerous.
Yeah, it was. Well, it was a lot of bad stuff. A lot of damage was done. A lot of houses, and so all throughout the state we did that. And then we had this thing, unfortunately, pop up called novel coronavirus, the COVID-19, and so once again he called on the National Guard to help assist the citizens of the state of Tennessee to administer tests so we could find out where that was going. So we set up testing sites throughout the state and ran those, and I think we've done more than 1 million COVID-19 tests for the state of Tennessee in this past year. And so that was a really, really big thing. And now that we have a vaccine, the Air and the National Guard are doing a lot to help administer the vaccines to soldiers and families, and eventually I think we may even see ourselves administering vaccines to the citizens. So we'll see how that goes. But in addition to those big events and stuff, we do a lot of what you kind of alluded to earlier, Tina, is the military aspect of it. So what's the question? Go ahead.
Did you guys actually fight in the army?
Yes, so that was what I was getting to. So we actually do play a very vital role in the actual military aspect of things. So we currently have lots of units throughout the state of Tennessee that are overseas, that are helping out other Army units and are on deployments right now. And so we do that in addition to all of the domestic stuff, the stuff locally here in the state and our community, as well as nationally, where we go support the defense of the United States at the same time. So yes, sir, we do. What other questions you got? Granny, got any questions? Nothing?
Yeah, Grandpa probably got some.
You can have some fun. Do you want to ask Mr. Ryan if he's ever...
I think that crow is like up on her.
You can ask me any question. I'll answer. Transparent.
Do we even line up and start?
Line up. Do a lineup.
Like a formation? Yes. So we every time that we get together and we have drill as a unit, we do basically a lot of the exact same things you do. You recite the oath and the law, and you say the Pledge of Allegiance. And so we do something very similar. We have a formation, and we get everybody together. We account for everybody, make sure everybody's there, and we do a very similar roll call.
Why is this crow keep?
He's excited. He sees you over here, so he's checking
He
you
might
out.
he
I
might
see
be
him
on
up
the
there.
upper
Yeah.
deck.
He sees activity over here.
So, I'll have a question. So you are in
If
the
he
guard.
has to get
Here, listen. We're gonna ask him. So you go. How often do you go away? Because I know you're gone some weekends throughout the year.
Yes, great question. So in the Tennessee Army National Guard, we have both full-time soldiers who wear the uniform every day and show up and do their jobs throughout the state and all kinds. You've probably driven by them, some of the armories that we've seen. That's what we call them. And they man those, and they're there full-time. We have a full-time force. I am what they call a traditional National Guardsman, in the sense of I work 1 weekend a month, 2 weeks a year, where I go to the armory and we drill, and I do my military training and work during the month, and then we go on what we call an annual training event every year, where we may go to foreign countries or just another part of the country, or maybe right here in the state of Tennessee, and we spend 2 weeks or longer getting to hone our skills, do more exercises, and where we get actual time to really practice our skills. So, and work on the things that we practice. There's driver's training or first aid, medical, firearms training, and marksmanship skills, things like that.
Daddy. Well, okay, sorry.
Do you have a question?
It's not really. Well, it's kind of a question.
Okay.
It's all right. Shoot.
Well, when we were remember when we were in Florida and you guys heard like the big booms?
Yes.
Like, was that them training for those?
Yeah, so when we were on vacation in Florida, we were near Eglin Air Force Base. And at night, Eglin Air Force Base...
Like, it wasn't at like 11:30?
Yeah, they do live round training near Eglin Air Force Base at nighttime. So all the people who are currently back on that base, they were doing, just a variety of things. So at nighttime, you would hear big booms, right, Kian? You remember hearing the big booms? And then sometimes you would hear the rapid fire, which were the guns. And we also saw...
We saw the planes fly
We
over.
saw C-130, we
Like
saw an
this?
Osprey, a Chinook.
I didn't hear any
It
of
was
it.
very confusing our first night of our beach vacation.
I bet it was. I bet that was.
Explosions
Wait,
happening in
Did
the
you
Wait,
think we
no,
were
that's
being
fine.
attacked?
I've been in all of those planes, and
Really?
spent a good bit of time at Eglin over the years.
Have you driven a tank?
I have actually driven a tank.
Oh.
Yeah, got the luckily
We want to go in.
fired a main gun round. Yeah, it's interesting. I was not a tanker, but I got to drive one.
Isn't it like it shoots these like giant? Is
Yeah,
it like
sits around. It's about as tall as you are. Weighs
Wow.
a little over 100 pounds.
that's what they fire?
Yeah, just
Whoa.
big heavy weapon, big heavy gun. Yeah.
Oh,
You have a cannon.
I bet like a tank itself, it'll weigh like 100,000 pounds.
I can't remember how many tons exactly they are. They are tons and tons and tons, but impressive.
Maybe
pieces of machinery.
4,000.
So I have a question, which is, first is, how long have you been in the National Guard?
Mhm.
And did you start, I know a lot of people in the National Guard start full-time, I guess, and then they transition to being in the reserves or what you're in now.
Yeah.
So did you do that, and how long did you do either of those?
Yeah.
Hold on, Kian, let him answer.
Good question. So, no, I started my career in the active army. So I spent the first 6 years of my career in the active army, and served at several bases, deployed overseas, and then when I came back from doing that first 6 years, I did transition from the active army, so the full-time, everyday type of army, and then went to transition to the Tennessee Army National Guard. So I have been in the Tennessee Army National Guard for 12 years, and so I have this May I have 18 years of service in, and so that's kind of where I'm at in my career.
And what
How many years have you been in the army?
You just said like 18
18,
total.
18 years. I have 18 years of commissioned service as an officer. I did 4 years prior to that while at school. So the school I went to a military school, and so I went to basic training some 23 years ago. And so, so I've been at it. I've been doing this. I've been a part of it, wearing the uniform in some form or fashion since I was 17.
Wow.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Since you're a teenager now.
Yeah, it's not a lot of it. Yeah, it's pretty amazing how. My parents had to sign my form. I wasn't legal age to sign.
I didn't know
I'm
you were
8
allowed
years
to be
from 17.
I
Yeah.
didn't know you
You'll be
were
here.
allowed to be in the army when you're a teenager.
Yeah, you can. Yeah. It's 18, about 17, 18. You got to sign a waiver if you're not of age yet, but they'll let you do it.
Graham, you have a question?
Yes, sir.
Which team wins when you fight?
Man, we win every time. Come on.
So the U.S. Army.
That is an easy question.
Well,
Yeah,
but it's a good
question.
question.
Yeah, it's
The U.S. Army is the largest. I believe it's the largest army, at least by expenditure. Maybe
Not
by
when,
manpower.
not
Yeah,
when,
we don't own the manpower, but we do have the largest defense budget on the planet. So
not when.
it's our largest budget item for the United States of America.
Who do you fight?
Trying to think of the way the best way to answer it. A lot of who we fight now is
British? No,
our,
that's too far back.
are small pockets of just bad people who don't agree with our policies and don't agree. I know this is probably all over y'all's head. What are we talking about? We if somebody causes problems, we have lots of friends across the across the
Hang on,
world,
Kean, let him finish this.
and we protect them, and we protect our interests too. So the United States has lots of properties and things that are vital to you and your families, and we protect those things like shipping routes and air corridors, things like that, where planes, and that's a lot of what we do to make sure all of that keeps running very smoothly. So we get to live in the freedoms we have here. So
Do the bad people have like weapons?
yeah, they do, and so we spend a lot of time figuring out what kind of weapons they have and how to deter and how to beat them.
Do they have like BB guns?
No, those are like, that's like the one I have, just like a practice gun.
So, like, one of the reasons that Mr. Ryan is in one weekend a month, he goes and does formation and training and all that, is to make sure that he stays sharp, everybody who works with him stays sharp.
They have like baseball bats.
So
No.
they do all that, Kean, so that way if they're ever called and they're in a, I don't know what you want to call it, a skirmish or fight or whatever it is,
War?
that they are well practiced,
Yeah.
they know what they're doing, even though he might not be in the army,
Full time.
Yeah.
I
He
thought
can,
you
at the drop
had
of a
to
hat,
be in
he
the
can be
army.
called into work and
No,
he knows what he's doing.
That's what's so neat about the Guard is I talked about earlier is a lot of the military aspect is that what we've talked about. But we spent so much time this past year. This is such a perfect year to talk about it because we're talking about our community leaders and we're talking about our police and our firefighters, and that's really where we came into to use this year. Is we supported all of those folks, supported the communities, the fire department. The police for sure, and really the medical staffs and the medical folks out there, because we have those skills and those training. We do that kind of training, and so we're able to jump right in and pick up where you get something like what we had, tornadoes and pandemics. It's overwhelming to those folks, and so they need some backup and some help, and that's where we were able to jump in. So, and that's the nice thing about it is we're able to serve both your local and state communities as well as the national interest. So. It's kind of a, we would call it, we wear two hats in a sense, but it keeps it very connected to the community, but also provides those skills and training for the kind of the larger national defense.
Well, even like Kean's grandparents, when they got vaccinated for COVID a couple months ago, when they
Our
went,
Papa is in the army.
He was in the army. He was
sure,
in the army.
But
Well,
we,
yeah, he was.
but when my parents, your grandparents went, when they went, I don't know if you remember, Baba told you, but the people who were running the whole thing when he pulled up, it was all Army National Guard, who were coordinating what time they were there, where they were supposed to go, who to see, what to fill out, and all that stuff. And that's just to help where a health department's not used to thousands of people showing up to receive medicine, but the Army National Guard can help that health department, which is usually just like 10 people in a building somewhere, basically deal with all of that.
Yeah.
So it's the National Guard has a different mission than the Army, but it's sort of all tied in together, and so it's a very unique thing, and that's why Ryan, I think, was a good person to talk to, because he works here, community here at home. It's not just, he's not overseas all the time. He's working here a lot, and sometimes he's overseas.
Yeah, no, and so it's a great point. And so, like, in our the state medical command is on the base where we're in Smyrna, which is just down the road from us, and so that's where our med command is. And
Do you some of your weapons shoot missiles?
No, you're not.
yeah, we have some. Yeah, we have some. We actually have one of our units right now, the 181 out of Chattanooga, is deployed right now. They shoot the HIMARS, which is a long-range artillery rocket.
Wow.
Cool.
And they're pretty cool. It's pretty awesome. It's pretty awesome to watch. Y'all should YouTube some HIMARS videos. It's really awesome.
Excellent. So,
Hopefully you know our code.
Kean, Graham, do you have any other questions? Any other burning questions?
Like, I'm cold.
My arm's starting to hurt.
That's okay. I understand. It's a lot. It's a lot. But I'm glad to see you guys out here doing good stuff, Lions.
Yeah, and the interesting thing about Scouts is that when you go, as a Cub Scout and you become a Boy Scout, then you can be involved with the ROTC, and as an Eagle Scout, there's a lot of transition of people who are in Scouts their whole life who eventually joined the military in some form.
Yeah.
But yes, Kean, I'm sure, wanted to share that his grandfather on my wife's side was career military for about 25 years, and then retired, and now he's been working for the DoD for the past 15 years
Nice.
up in the Maryland, Washington, D.C. area. And his uncle Shane was in the Army National Guard and also works for the DoD now.
Awesome.
Are we done?
That's good.
My arm's starting to hurt.
Huh?
My arm's starting
Your
to
arms
hurt.
are
from
You guys
pulling-
getting tired?
Yeah.
You got. Yeah, go ahead, brother. What you got?
I've been holding up this
Nice.
Yeah.
Outstanding.
I've been holding up this camera for 17 minutes.
Yeah.
You get to ask him a lot of questions and find out a lot of good stuff. But he's got a lot of good stories. You should ask him about them.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny when you talk to some people who have been in the Army. Sometimes they were in the Army for 1 or 2 tours a long time ago, and then they've been living a whole other life since then. So some people who have been in the Army, you would never really know,
Right.
and then they might tell you one day, and you'd be very surprised. But then there's other people who are career military, or they're career military in the Guard, and so they're constantly in it for a very, very long time.
Yeah. Yeah, I couldn't give it up, man. That's why I did it. I had to keep serving, so I.
We do karate, which helps us be ready in case anybody
It's
tries to.
Karate is
tell me
like-
about it. He said y'all are really enjoying that. That's good.
karate is self-defense. So only if someone attacks you or threatens you.
Hey,
Well,
you
the guy
can karate actually also teach you how to attack.
And
Sensei
it
Josh, who
teaches-
leads the martial arts program, was also a Marine.
There you go.
So that's why when you're in there, he has all the
Yeah, I see
insignia and stuff around the room.
I see
that's
he has
all-
this American flag that's made of wood, and a part of it has
Well, he
a
has
symbol
all of
on
his,
it.
Yeah,
Certain symbol.
he has a
What is
symbol. I mean, and they all represent, I'm sure what unit he was in and all sorts
Oh
of
yeah.
stuff. I'm not too hip to all of it to understand.
I've been holding the camera up for
You have been doing a great job.
18
You've been
minutes
doing
and
great. Yeah.
All
I
right,
know
so
Copeland be.
I think Copeland's going to watch the video.
Yeah, he'll probably. Yeah, he can catch
oh,
up.
my fingers
All
are
right, so
freezing.
does anybody else have any questions?
No.
So can we do this? I would like just for us to stand up, and I just want you guys to say a big thank you to Mr. Ryan for being here, and also a big thank you to Mr. Ryan for what he does for the military, okay?
My pleasure, guys.
Thank
Keep
you.
up the hard work.
Thank you.
Here, you're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you,
Yes, sir.
Mr. Ryan.
Can I stop the video?
I like it.
Stop the
You can stop the